Narayana namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayat mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavatir naishtikir. Haribol, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to be with you and getting to speak after a long time. I've had a busy semester, so I'm so happy to be with you all again, and especially to be talking to you about a section that is very close to my heart, Arjuna's prayers to the universal form of Sri Krishna, chapter 11, and specifically verse 38. So let's read it. I'll be reading it in the style and tempo of Janavi Jivana Devi's Mama Deva Deva. So it's very beautiful. So I'll sing it in that melody. Tvam Adideva Purusha Puranas Tvam Asya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vetasi Vedyam Chaparam Chadhama Tvaya Tatham Vishwam Anantarupa. So I really love this, and I hope you also love how beautiful this verse is. I'll read it once more. Tvam Adideva Purusha Puranas Tvam Asya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vetasi Vedyam Chaparam Chadhama Tvaya Tatham Vishwam Anantarupam. Synonyms. Tvam, you. Adi Deva, the original supreme God. Purusha, personality. Purana, old. Tvam, you. Asya, of this. Vishwasya, universe. Param, transcendental. Nidhanam, refuge. Veda, the knower. Asi, you are. Vedyam, the knowable. Cha, and. Param, transcendental. Cha, and. Dhamma, refuge. Tvaya, by you. Tatham, pervaded. Vishwam, the universe. Anantarupa, O unlimited form. Oh, one sec, sorry. Okay. Translation. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. One more time. Arjuna says, you are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, He is the ultimate rest. Nidhanam means that everything, even the Brahman effulgence, rests upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He is the knower of everything that is happening in this world. And if knowledge has any end, he is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, he is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because he's all pervading. Because he is the cause in the spiritual world, he is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now I'll make a few prayers to the Vaishnava ancestors that have come before us. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Tadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Very dear devotees, it's so nice to be with all of you today. Thank you, Ashish Prabhu, Himachakanath Prabhu, Satyabhama Mataji, Sameshwar Prabhu, Sanjay Gupta Prabhu, Sandeep Rudravar Prabhu, Amritanandan Prabhu, Savita Mataji for being here. Today it's always nice to be with you all. Today we'll be discussing one of my absolute favorite, this is by far my favorite section in the Gita, Arjuna's prayers to the universal form. And I specifically find this section of the Gita to be my favorite because we get to really understand the character and intimately understand the personality of Arjuna and his relationship with Krishna. Oftentimes we talked about the Bhagavad Gita like to be like a life manual, right? Everyone can read it and everyone can get something out of it. That's how it's a universal manual. But simultaneously, this Gita is also this personal dialogue between a friend and a friend. It's a personal dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. And when we get to feel Arjuna's love for Krishna in these verses, I feel that is so powerful. I feel prayers, from my experience, prayers, when I read the prayers of Bhishma Dev, when I read the prayers of Maharani Kunti in the Srimad Bhagavatam, prayers of Maharaj Prahlad, when I read all these prayers, I feel like we're getting an intimate glance into each character and their personal relationship with God. And because Krishna consciousness is this personal philosophy, right? It's not this impersonal relationship that we have with the Brahman. It's this personal relationship we have with God. When we see these examples, when Bhishma Dev talks about how when Krishna was running to him with his chariot, all the feelings he felt, how Krishna was breaking his promise and coming towards him, or how Kunti Maharani says, "You saved us from a burning home, from my son being poisoned." You get to experience Krishna is so personal with his devotees, and it's so rare that we get to find these little bits, and especially in the Bhagavad Gita, which is mainly talking about philosophy, to have a section fully dedicated to this personal dialogue that Arjuna is opening his heart to Krishna. There's this one verse that is coming that you will all love, where Arjuna opens up his heart and saying, "Krishna, I used to call you Yadava. I used to call you my friend. I used to call you all kinds of crazy things out of madness or love. And I didn't realize that you were this incredible person. Please forgive me." And when we get to understand Arjuna's Sakya or friendly relationship with Krishna, it's so powerful. It's so powerful when we understand how personal Krishna is with his devotees. And I personally think that's very inspiring, because then maybe one day we will also have prayers by Surabhi Dasi. We'll have prayers by Simeshwar Prabhu, prayers by Hema Jagannath Prabhu. And these will all be prayers that I can talk about in my life. And, "Oh, Krishna, you showed up for me at this point in my life when I needed you most. Krishna, you showed up for me here." It's these kind of prayers that are so powerful. And so I'm so glad Sumeshwar Prabhuji, out of nowhere, really came to me and asked me to speak on this verse. And I really think that's my Krishna miracle for the week, is I got to speak. I'm getting to speak on and discuss with all of you a section of literature that is very, very close to my heart. All right, so with that background on how powerful prayers are, let's dive in and try to understand what Arjuna is specifically opening his heart about in this verse. And I think it's so beautiful. Let's read the translation once more. "You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you." So the first thing Arjuna says is, "Tvam Adideva." He says, "You are the origin of everything." So he tells Krishna, you are the origin, you are the source of all things in this material and spiritual world. Here we can see this picture, beautiful picture of little Gopal and all of his sakhas actually being representations of his original form. And so so we can understand from this verse that Krishna is the origin of everything. Krishna is the origin of everything. Right. Tvam Adideva Purusha Puranas. Arjuna says, you are the oldest person. And so here I've put a picture of Mahavishnu laying beautifully on his serpent, resting beautifully on his serpent bed, Mother Lakshmi massaging his feet. And out of his navel, a very special being is sitting on a lotus flower. Lord Brahma is considered to be the oldest living being in our material universe, right? But Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna himself is older than that oldest living being, as Brahma originates from his navel. He has been there eternally. There was never a time where he did not exist, as we know in some verses from the Gita, previous verses from the Gita. Lord Brahma actually states in his Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Manantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Krishna is Achyuta, he's infallible, Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Manantarupam. He has unlimited forms. Adyam Purana Purusham, just like Arjuna is saying here, he's the oldest living entity. Purana Purusham, Nava Yovanamcha, but still, as you can see in this photo, in this picture, he is always useful. Nava Yovanamcha. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. Although you are not known by the Vedas, you are known by Atma Bhakto, by your wonderful devotees. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. To that primeval Lord Govinda, I offer my respectful obeisances. So here Arjuna is making a similar point to Brahma while glorifying the Supreme Lord. And it is so much fun to glorify the Supreme Lord. Tvam asya vishvasya param nidhanam. Here Arjuna is saying, of the entire Vishwasya, of the entire universe, you are Param, you are that supreme Nidhanam, refuge. And here we have a beautiful picture of Mahavishnu resting, and all of those universes resting upon him. And you'll see here, this painting beautifully illustrates how during dissolution, when we think about it theoretically, how we understand the material, cosmic manifestation and dissolution, there is all of the planetary systems, they come back into the body, into the pores of Mahavishnu, actually, into the pores of Mahavishnu during the time of dissolution. So he is the resting place of all living beings. Okay, and one point of application that I really wanted to make here is, what does it mean to be a sanctuary? Here, Srila Prabhupada uses the word sanctuary, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. He says he is the ultimate rest. He says, therefore, Krishna is the ultimate rest. And I think when I think about Prabhupada writing this Bhagavad Gita, probably in India, after so many unsuccessful attempts to spread the glories of Lord Krishna and to bring love of God, this revolution of the love of God, so many unsuccessful attempts, I think he must have been so tired. And so for him to write these words, everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is the ultimate rest. How much he must be truly feeling that, to be so empowered, because Srila Prabhupada needed that rest. He needed that sanctuary for him to do the incredible work he's done in the world and the incredible impact he's left on the world. And so I have this very cute picture my mom sent me on WhatsApp. It's a beautiful mother cow, and in her shadow is sleeping her little calf. And when I saw this picture, I immediately fell in love. And I think it perfectly illustrates what it means to take rest, and what it means to take rest with Krishna. Right? I know you all must be so busy in life, working so hard and having a family, and it's so busy, and being a student is quite difficult also. Preparing for exams is difficult. And when we need that rest, when we need that much needed sanctuary, who do we go to? Where do we go? And Arjuna is this pure devotee, is explaining that all living entities, for the entire universe, Krishna is that rest, right? Krishna also mentioned the Gita, how he Shrudrim Mani Gana Ivam, how all the pearls on a necklace, they only look good, or they only look good when they rest on a string, right? So similarly, just like pearls rest on a string, similarly all of these cosmic manifestations, they also rest on top of Krishna, just like this little calf resting in her mother's shadow. So I urge you all to think about this. How has Krishna opened up places of rest in your life? Because it's very busy. Life is very busy. And if we're making time for rest, then we can, just like Srila Prabhupada did, then we can have this revolution of love of God in the world. How are you taking rest? And to remember that rest is Krishna. All right. Vedasi Vedyam. All right. So in just these two Sanskrit words, Arjuna is saying two important things, right? Just these two words, he's saying two important things. He's saying that one, Krishna knows everything. Krishna is a knower of everything that is happening in this world. So you can see, because he's Paramatma, he knows what's happening in the heart of the lion, in the heart of the sage, in the heart of the dog, in the heart of the duck, in the heart of the hunters, in the heart of the little boys who are playing with the goats. He knows everything. Krishna knows everything, and everything that is going on in our hearts. He's knowing what's happening in Ukraine. He's knowing what's happening in India. He's knowing what's happening in some other universe, in Chandraloka. He's knowing what's happening everywhere. But not only that, Krishna is also the supreme knowable object. If there's this really beautiful sentence, Srila Prabhupada writes, and if knowledge has any end, he is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, he is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because he's all pervading. Right? If knowledge has any end, and all of you have studied at one point in college or high school, and you know how vast knowledge can be, that it doesn't end. People study for so many years for PhDs, and they say, I still haven't even touched like a single piece of sand in this vast beach of knowledge. So we can understand how vast and immeasurable material knowledge is. So how vast and immeasurable must spiritual knowledge be? And so putting them together, how immeasurable can just simply knowledge be? And Srila Prabhupada says, if knowledge has any end, Krishna is the end of all knowledge. And why does he say that? He says that because Krishna is all pervading, because Krishna is Bahir Narsimho, Hridaye Narsimho, because he is within and outside of everything, because he is within me and outside of me, Krishna is all pervading, and therefore he is to be known through everything. All right. Chaparam Chadhama. So here Arjuna says that Krishna is the supreme abode. Right, so he's the supreme abode. He's the supreme abode for all living entities and their refuge. Tvaya tatam vishwam anantarupam. So here Arjuna is saying, Anantarupam, you have unlimited forms, and you have distributed your unlimited forms throughout the universe. And so you are everywhere. So here I have a picture of Narasimhadev, one of the Ananta Rupam, one of the unlimited forms of Krishna. And he is coming out of a pillar. He is coming out of an everyday object, an everyday thing that anyone will have in their homes, a pillar. And he is killing Hiranyakashipu to protect his devotees. So he is everywhere. He's all pervading. He is in the pillar. Bahir Narsingho Hridayer Narsingho. He is outside and within. He's inside me. He's in you. He's in everyone. So Krishna is within all living beings. He is within the table. I am putting my laptop on and speaking to you all with, he is within me, within my heart, so he knows my heart. He is within your heart, so he knows your heart and your desires as well, and your goals and your ambitions, and what is best for you, what is best for me also. So Krishna knows all of these things. And he has unlimited forms to reciprocate the unlimited relationships a devotee might have with him. I think that's a really interesting point, is that Krishna, and I heard this from Jaya Jagannath Prabhu once on Instagram or something, but Krishna has these, he used this word polymorphic monotheism, that we believe in a God with unlimited forms, polymorphic monotheism, but we believe in only one specific God. And why does he have these unlimited forms? It's because each devotee might want to relate to him in a different way. Arjuna was interested. Krishna, I would really love to see this universal form of yours. And so Krishna expands and shows him this universal form. To even Duryodhana in the court, he showed this universal form because Duryodhana related to him in this aggressive manner. So he showed this aggressive universal form. Or to Mother Yashoda, he was this young boy. Or for to protect his devotee Prahlad, he is this angry lion. And so in order to relate to all of his devotees in the unlimited relationships or rasas they may have with him, Krishna expands himself in beautiful, unlimited ways. So this is what I've prepared for today. And if there are any questions or comments, I would love to hear. I also have a few questions for all of you to reflect on, if there are no questions currently.
Hare Krishna, Surabhi. Please accept my humble obeisances. A very beautiful and what I should say, a very unique class, I'll say. I loved it. All glories to you and all glories to your parents. I'm really impressed and I feel proud of you being part of our Sangha. And and I love the picture of mother cow and the calf. It just stole my heart, and that's the nice way of saying refuge. We are all in the refuge of Krishna. And then polymorphy, monotheism, that's also very nice to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just hear these beautiful things, and my mom sends me nice things, so I'm able to say something. So thank you, Sankarshan Charan Prabhu. I appreciate it. So if there are no questions or reflections, I have a few reflection questions I prepared in case of this. So no, also I really do enjoy hearing from all of you, and so I have a few questions that have been on my mind. I have 3 questions. First one is, for Arjuna, his miracle of the day was witnessing the universal form. What was your Krishna miracle today? So this is something for all of you to reflect on. Maybe take 10-15 seconds to reflect on this. If you feel comfortable, you can unmute and tell us. Otherwise, it's okay. These kind of things are also personal, and I understand that. How has Krishna showed up in your life today? Of course, he's not showing universal form or anything, but still he can show.
I'll just say, after yesterday's class, I lost hope in Krishna consciousness. What we had yesterday. I'm giving my frank opinion, and I know everybody is hearing it, but that's what I felt. I was very disappointed. But today, after hearing to you, my love for Krishna has again come back. Thank you so much, Surabhi.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Rosie. Appreciate. My Krishna miracle for today was getting to speak on Arjuna's prayers, because they're very close to my heart. Prayers in general.
Hey Surabhi.
Haribol Amritananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisance. Oh, courage to Prabhupada.
Oh, glory to Prabhupada.
I can echo what Shankar Shan Prabhu said about being proud of you. And I think everyone on this forum, and even those who are not on the call, feel the same way about you. So I have two things. One is I'll answer your question, and then I have a question for you about the Krishna Miracle. Last night I had a call with a client who's in Singapore, which is 12 hours ahead of us. And it went on for a long time. And before that, I go to the gym with Madhupati Prabhu. So we had gone early. And then he was saying, will you be able to get up for the Bhagavatam class? So somehow or the other, just in time, I got up. So that was the first miracle. I don't know how much attention I paid in the Bhagavatam class, but at least physically participated. Then the work schedule was so hectic that after having a bagel for breakfast in the morning, it was non-stop. Literally didn't get up from the seat. And I go to pick up Savita at around 6:30 from the station. And that's when I realized I haven't eaten, I haven't had a drink of water or anything. And I'm diabetic. Now, usually if you don't, you get hypoglycemia where your sugar level goes down. And you can get some symptom like your heart beats fast and you feel weak and dizzy and all that other stuff. But nothing was happening. So of course I thought it may be because the mind is so engaged in the work, no distraction. But it just isn't the mind being distracted. Now that you mentioned about Krishna's hand in everything, so I can appreciate that, this, and extending it further, literally every breath that we take is a miracle. I don't know exactly what the verse is. Maybe Simeshwar Prabhu or somebody can say, at every step there is danger. We may not realize it, but, in spite of all that, we are carrying on. So these were my personal miracles. And the only, as you mentioned, the prayer, Surabhi, is if in a professional area, the mind can get so absorbed that it forgets everything. Why not while chanting? And that's what I was trying to figure out as to why not for chanting. Anyway, so that was my answer to your question. If someone else has to share, they can share, and I can ask you a question later on.
Hi. Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Very
Haribol
nice.
Ashish Prabhu, Ashish Granda Prabhu.
Yes, and Dandavat Pranam to everyone. Humble obeisances to you and everyone. So today's miracle, actually, I can see everywhere the miracle. In the tree, there's a miracle. The cloud, there is a miracle in the cloud. There are billions of tons of water that is floating, right? That is miracle. Today in the morning there is raining. Like there is a rain, right? So it was raining, but I think that everything is a miracle. To us, everything is a miracle. We are digesting food. That is miracle. We can take the food and how it is digesting. It is miracle. We can see some object. It is a miracle. I think that every part in this creation is miracle. And see the tree as Madhubodhi Babu several times gave the example, right? The seed, the banyan tree give the seed or small seed. From that seed, give the very big banyan tree again. That is a miracle.
I didn't want to.
Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
I didn't want to stop you because you were saying so many. I was just going on continuously. These are really beautiful miracles you've noted. I wanted to say I like the cloud example, and I like the tree example, the being stuck in a seed. I really appreciated the digestion example. I really appreciated all of these miracles. And what I was thinking was, when I usually can't notice these miracles. I see the clouds and I'm upset that there's so many clouds, or I see the trees and so many trees in New Jersey already, and I walk away. But yeah, that's so true, Prabhuji. I also, you have that poetic. I also heard your poem during the Vyas Puja recently, so I appreciate the noticing and being observant. So thank you so much for bringing those points up. And to Amritananda Prabhu's point, I'm so glad your blood sugar levels didn't drop. And I truly believe that's a Krishna miracle. And I'm so grateful to Lord Krishna for keeping our hardworking, resilient Amritananda Prabhu safe. I was very grateful. Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, thank you very much. Last miracle I can tell you, Mataji and everyone, that's Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. When we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we can calm down, and our impurities, our heart is going to be cleansed. So that is a big miracle.
I agree. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Prabhu. Yes, the one miracle we take, at least I take for most granted. So thank you for sharing, reminding us.
Thank you. Haribol Mataji. Thank you. Haribol everyone.
Hare Krishna. Can I share a miracle if I can?
Yes, Papa, you can.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, I'm just trying to meditate on what Amritananda Prabhu mentioned about feeling diabetic, and of late I've been having this tingling, itchy feeling in my feet, in the lower portion of the feet, which touches the ground when you walk. And I was just wondering what's happening. Sometimes it is basically appearing in the last 1 month or so, and I was doing a lot of research to find out what is the cause of it. The miracle, I think, what Krishna is telling me is actually, after doing a lot of research and also hearing Amritananda Prabhu speak about it, and I was doing a lot of research by reading and all that. This is actually onset of pre-diabetes or diabetes, when you have tingling sensation in the lower feet or your itchy feet. That means diabetes is. So Krishna is alerting me through this miracle that you better be careful, start stopping your desire to gulp all those sweets, and that intelligence, I think, is setting in, which was not there in the last 1 month, and I was trying to find out what is it, why am I constantly having that itchy feeling in the feet, the lower portion of the feet. So I think that's a miracle for me to take his alert and precursor warning to set myself up. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. So that's my share of the miracle for me, which I unearthed a day before and today as well. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for sharing. I will make sure that there will be no more sweets in your gums. Thank you for sharing. And
Prabhuji, Hema Jagannath Prabhu, my humble suggestion is go to your family doctor and just get a test done. Go fasting. And that's the best way to understand, what you said, those are the symptoms of diabetes. It could be something else also, but tingling, feeling thirsty, frequent urination, all these are signs, symptoms. So it's good that you go, and the only way is a blood test, and they can do it in the office also, or, she'll just draw a sample and send it to the lab, but go fasting.
Definitely, bro. Thank you so much.
For that, yeah. Okay, Surabhi, my question was, I like to talk to young persons. On last Sunday for the festival, I met you. You were so nicely dancing near Prabhupada. We had a little chat, and like that, I also had a little chat with Rishta Mataji. And I had asked her, Rishta, share with me some realization that you had today. So she thought for a while and she said, Prabhuji, it is acceptance. So I said, what do you mean by acceptance? She's saying acceptance means we accept people as they are and not as per the little boxes we think how they should be in. We shouldn't try to fit people into these little boxes we make. Oh, a devotee must be like this. Oh, a karmi is like this, so he goes in that box. Oh, a person. So we all put these boxes and we try to fit people in those boxes. So acceptance is what she said. No matter who that person is, we accept this. And as I was thinking over the week, what in my experience is that youngsters, the successive generation, is more accepting. So I can see you, Rishta, my kids, so many other kids, they're more, how do I say, easygoing. Whereas the parent generation, tend to be rigid, or you can say more judgmental. So I'm trying to understand what it is with the youth that they are so easygoing and accepting and not quick to judge. Generally speaking, okay, there would be some exceptions. So if you can share some of your experiences of how you all are as a youngster, how do you see things? And
thank you so much for sharing. I really liked what Krishna said. Krishna always comes up with such beautiful realizations. It's all about acceptance. I think this is a really nice observation, Amritananda Prabhu. I've also felt that before, but I think I've realized that if I ever see, my mom and dad making, oh, Surabhi, if you don't hang out with these people, or Surabhi, you want to stay away from these people. Whenever I see them do that, I think it's coming from a place of deep love and attachment and wanting to keep me safe. My parents and all of you, I think all of you have immigrated from a country and come to a new country and put down your feet here and are making a beautiful life for yourselves. So it's natural to want to feel safe and want your kids to be safe in this new place. And I think that was the reason for my parents telling me, and other parents also telling me these kind of things, and trying to draw lines. So I'm very, very grateful for my parents for telling me these kind of things and giving me their ideas, because they've only protected me. But to your point, I think maybe it's just the environment we go through, the environment around me is very open, and in school we had the opportunity to make friends with people who we didn't know, and ideas, and meet people who were of different races, of different sexualities, and different things like that. And so because we had the knowledge of these different types of people and their different walks of life, I think in general we got to see, oh, they're just like normal people like us. And so I think from there I kind of and I think in general more people get to do that, and I'm grateful for that from a young age to have that as well. Yeah, I thought, yeah, Amritan Prabhu, what do you think about my answer? Do you have any thoughts? I'm sure if you ask thoughtful questions like that, you must have a thoughtful idea behind it as well.
Surabhi, I was raised with very liberal parents. My father was a non-conformist, almost a hippie. And similarly, my mother, they went against all norms. He was a South Indian Saraswat Brahmin, and he married a person from a refugee from Pakistan, a Punjabi. So North and South, like nothing culturally, and it wasn't a love marriage. It was an arranged through somebody. And in India, they have, when a boy is born, especially the North Indian community, they have a big fanfare. It's like almost a wedding celebration. And my mom and dad did that when my sister was born, a girl, just to show society. And that's how we were raised, to not to question everything. So from that aspect, they were pretty broad-minded in everything, from social norms to everything. I'll give you a small instance. I studied in a Catholic school, and we had, how military has the haircut? It's called a crew cut. And in '79, John Travolta's Saturday Night movie came, so we used to all grow our hair long. And a priest, who was the principal, he suspended. And being suspended was fun, because you go in the gym and you just play over there, no classes. So the principal realized it's not working. So he used to take clumps. He used to cut clumps of our hair with a scissor. So your bald patches all over your head. But still, you are a young teenager, you want to be a rebel. So finally, he sent a letter he called up my father at his work, and he said that, there's a disciplinary action with your son, please come. And my father comes to the office, and he had long hair all the way up to his shoulders. He had a long beard all the way up to his chest. And he had, nowadays you have this fashion of wearing torn jeans, but he had a chemical factory where he used to work, and with those chemicals, so that kind of torn jeans. And the priest got shocked when my father walked in. Like, he's called the father for disciplining the son with long hair. And then my father said something very important. I was just a kid, 14, 15. And he said, my father told the priest, all great men had long hair, Jesus Christ, Rabindranath Tagore. So you look at history, you look at religion, everyone has long hair. So what is really the issue with long hair? So the priest said, yes, but there is something called discipline. So then he said, disciplining through punishment never works. Rather, disciplining from understanding the person, why he's behaving this way. If you understand why a person does something, then you're able to influence his behavior and show him this is not the right, this is the, rather than forcing somebody who will only do as long as the force is applied, and the force will either break a person or he will just break out from under that force. So this is the environment in which we were raised. But even so, I find with that background, and I know with my friends and all, they have pretty narrow views as compared to my siblings and I. But even I see as I'm growing up, I seem to get stuck in my ways of thinking. And it kind of puts a boundary around the way of thinking. And from that comes this prejudices, from that comes the mind is not open. Of course, I say this with some caution. It's not that you take anything and everything. You have to be very discerning of what Jagannath was saying, that intelligence. You need to have that. But to be constantly thinking why not, how, and sometimes knowledge seems to be a burden, which stops that level of curiosity. And I find with you youngsters, the environment and that level of curiosity, that is a thing which keeps you accepting. This is how I was trying to figure out what makes a person acceptant or non-judgmental. Haribol.
Haribol, thank you so much for sharing that. I like what your dad said about discipline through understanding. I think it's going to, I really appreciated that point. I think that's applicable to so many things, even disciplining your mind, is understanding your mind versus controlling it. I really appreciated that, and I do think it's important to discern. So thank you so much for sharing. I liked what you said. And I'm grateful for my parents and for the older generation for teaching me a lot about discernment, and that is really important. To discern what is right and what is wrong. My parents have really given me a nice foundation for that. And my experience in growing up in the United States has given me a more open view, and I'm appreciative of both of that. Thank you so much, Amritanand Prabhu. Are there any other reflections, questions, anything anyone would like to share?
Yeah, so Prabhu, thank you for sharing and opening your heart to share your side of the story. And actually, if you look at it, what you mentioned about sort of punishing a person is not really going to rectify the person in the long run. It's absolutely correct, and there is no denying that. But what I have observed, growing up in India and people growing up here, there is a difference in which they end up growing up. Even if you look at how we were taught maths and how the people over here are taught maths, they are so different. And anytime you try to sort of make a kid understand the steps in solving a math is not how they are taught, and often after some time you realize that trying to put your way in taking through the steps is not how the other person here, having grown up from here, is going to accept. So acceptability, what Rista mentioned, is actually a very high level of thinking. And Srila Prabhupada accepted the hippies and made them into happies. So it is easier said than done, and that acceptability is something which all the parents who are upbringing their kids here will have to learn, because we have the general tendency to sort of go back to the past and try to learn from the past, but we haven't realized that it's a totally different culture here, and things have evolved, and what was right in that context and the steps what you to take to get to the right is very different now, and our ability to sort of be sort of flexible in accepting flexibility in accepting the differences is very important, and not be judgmental. So judgmental acceptability by being flexible are some of the tenets of not just parentage. It's also our devotee relationship. It's also how we do. They see in India, a person joins and probably retires in the same company, but here it's so different. The families are not stable, the job is not stable. So staying in stability and trying to be flexible and accepting, and so trying to make room for all of this is a revelation by itself. And we all have to learn how to give all of these tenets in our growing up culture, and not be the cancel culture, which is not the right thing to do. So wonderful discussion stemming from Virat Roop all the way to how Virat Roop can encompass all the Virat aspect of growing up. Thank you for, and Mr. Prabhu generally doesn't stop within 8 o'clock, which and he goes on, and a perfect topic to go on and on.
Well said, Jagannath Prabhu. Well said. It gave a good understanding of our background and how we are used to thinking in a way, and over here how things are so different. Yeah. Thanks.
And I am so grateful I was actually reflecting today how grateful I am for my parents and them. I was just thinking about this, my parents have come from a place of really a lot of difficulty in India, and how they've come to a place in the US. And I'm sure this is the story for each and every one of you. And I'm not sure if your kids have told you this today, but we all feel it. We really all feel it. As we don't have to work another hard day in our life because you've brought us to this country of opportunity. And so whatever little non-accepting, more discipline is in your life, we are all so grateful for it, because you helped give us a life and stability we can't ever ask for. So it's really wonderful. So
Yeah.
Thank you. If there are no other pressing questions or reflections from anyone, maybe we can call it a wrap for today, unless Mr. Prabhuji would like to make a closing statement.
Yeah, thank you so much, Surabhi Mataji. Powerful, wonderful class. Lots of points. I like that the point, Krishna is the last word of knowledge. That's so perfect. That's the verdict of our Veda. Vedishcha sarvam ahameva vedhyo. I am to be known. So wonderful. So there are, sometimes I think that, there are volumes of books, and people write. Ultimately, what it's create the chaos and the causes of troubles and problems. Doesn't really give anything to the people. The moment we open a verse in Bhagavad Gita, completely opens up the entire world, the knowledge. That's the our great fortune. We have this association, systematic study of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, and chanting of the holy name, association of the devotees, hearing this transcendental subject matter from the various realizations and perspective. What else is better than this? Thank you. Thank you for taking time to sharing your thoughts, and really helpful. Thank you so much again. And thank you, dear devotees. Few announcements. There'll be a kirtan, 6-hour kirtan on this Saturday at the temple. Yaprash Prabhu is trying to coordinate. And also we have a few, the following weekend, Hari Parshad Prabhu is coming, and we'll be having Friday evening 7 to 9. There will be a Krishna Bala Leela. There'll be a topic. Prabhuji is speaking. Prabhuji is a nice speaker. There's lots of realizations. A knowledgeable person. And also Saturday evening 6 to 8. There'll be also a topic of the Smarana Kirtana, the topics of Krishna. That'll be also there. And Sunday, Radha Shyam Prabhu is speaking. So it's coming following weekend is pretty, powerful, full of wonderful speakers. So don't miss this. You mark your calendar. And also this Saturday we have 12 to 2. We have Nagara Sangha, the book distribution at Apana Bazaar. So please join. This is the real application of our bhakti, distributing books and serving Srila Prabhupada. We say we are all, Rupanukas, but Srila Prabhupada is a Senapati Bhakta. And we are all, Senapati means commander-in-chief. That means whoever assisting Srila Prabhupada is in the army of supporting and assisting Srila Prabhupada. So this is the system that we are going through. So don't miss these opportunities that to assist, to serve Srila Prabhupada. That's our mission, nothing else. One who serves Srila Prabhupada and Guru in this lifetime, that's more than enough to attain Krishna. Nothing else, nothing more to that. No need to do anything else, but just to serve Srila Prabhupada and spiritual master. So please join on Saturday. And we'll be also planning to have a Nagara Sankirtan on next Saturday. So we are planning to have a venue appropriate. May not be in Edison side, maybe somewhere in this Princeton side, so that different locations people can take advantage of it. Okay, so there is a message here. Okay. Surabhi, I love Hari Parshad Prabhu. Okay, yes.
Is he coming in person, Prabhuji?
Yes, he's coming in.
Oh, wow. That's so exciting. Thank you so much for arranging that.
Yeah. He's, that's my understanding. He's coming in person. Okay, I'll also confirm. Yeah, I think that's my understanding. He's here and visiting here, like, Padma Nayanam Prabhu was in New York. They are coming here for Sadhu Sangha and other programs. So they are also, taking time to visit New York and other places. That's my understanding. Yeah, that's it.
And Hare Krishna Prabhu, and I don't know if people have observed, Hari Parshad Prabhu is the assistant editor of Krishna Katha Bindu, which you will be getting in Japathon, and Sri Radha Samsundar, Madhavananda Prabhu being the director. He is the assistant editor, so he is very knowledgeable. So not many people may have observed that, but I thought I'll just add about Hari Parshad Prabhu for the Krishna Kathamrita Bindu Gopalji publication, ISKCON Ministry magazine, which comes out every fortnight.
Also, Prabhuji is there is a committee called that ISKCON GBC appointed a committee to all our scriptures, to put it in such a way that everybody can understand. And there is a Sanskrit hermeneutics. Hermeneutics means the way that we all can understand in a in a devotional way. I mean, we may have Srila Prabhupada's books and the purpose, but some people understand in this way and some people understand that way. And there is a committee is formed to make sure that everybody understand what Srila Prabhupada mentioned is in a right way. Sometimes, some people say, oh, Srila Prabhupada said this way, Srila Prabhupada said this way. But what actually Srila Prabhupada meant on that context. So they have a committee like Urmila Mataji and Hariparshad Prabhu and other scholars, Sanskrit scholars basically. They are, Prabhuji is also one of the member and very, very knowledgeable person. Realized person, that's what it is, the right word. Yeah, so everybody please take the advantage of all this. Then this is our great fortune that we hear this transcendental subject matter from the realized souls. Sometimes it may not be so pleasing, may not be up to our realizations or our understanding, but always we should be always open our ears to hear properly. So this way we can have proper understanding. So it says spiritual topic is not an easy like what we hear from others or something like that. This need a couple of things. First is actually when we are purified purified more and more, we will get more and more. It's like as it always says that a mirror is covered by the dust so that it won't reflect the light properly, or if any reflection is there, the glass is colored in different color, so it reflects only that. It won't reflect the original the rays of the light. So it's very important that these factors that we also hear and hear. Only by hearing that we can purify more and chanting of the holy name. So then we can understand and what our speaking. And also always says that it's not about the speaker. It's always about what we hear. Sometimes it's difficult to digest and understand, but when we have the mercy of Krishna, then we can get that the right context and the right meaning and right purpose of that the speaker says. And we should be always ready to listen. Everybody, even a child says Krishna consciousness, we should be always, ready to hear that. Yeah. So hearing is very important. So thank you so much. So we will conclude here if there is nothing else. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam, Mr. Prabhu. Humble obeisances to you, but this is a controversial topic. I cannot discuss today because already time is over. So maybe I can talk.
No, what is the controversy? So we can meditate on. What is it?
I'm connection to the yesterday's topic, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yesterday. So, Prabhu, main thing is that sometimes Prabhupada several times wrote that we are with the Krishna, and yesterday I heard that we are not in the Krishna, we are Nitya Baddha always. So some various purport Prabhupada wrote that. Another thing, Prabhu, in Prema or before that Prema, what is that stage? Before the Prema, there is another stage, right?
Bhava.
So, Bhava. In Bhava stage, we can understand our position with what is the relationship with the Lord, right?
Yeah.
So if already we have the relationship with the Lord, so I am confused. So means this is
yeah.
to need clarify.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful topic, Roji. I mean, yes. I mean, it's called Swarup. It's called Swarup. Swarup means our original spiritual form, right? Swarup, our original spiritual form. And also, when a person is liberated state and come to the bhava and always been with Krishna, then naturally we come to that state of direct service to Krishna. That what is our service to Krishna, that will be also there. So what Prabhuji was mentioning yesterday, yes, we were with Krishna in that sense that we are not directly involved with Krishna, that like gopis or gopas or the close associates or 108 gopis, not like that. We were there. As there is always remember that the spiritual world is 3/4 of the entire creation. That means Tribhada Vibhuti. Think about what is this material world. Material world, we cannot even, it says that a light ray from one universe to the another universe, it takes billions of years, light years, even to reach one universe to the another universe. So then we can imagine that the vastness of this material world, even we cannot even imagine, right? It takes millions of, some stars are, how many millions of light years ago, light years, so that means, 500 million years ago that light started from there and still it is reaching here. So it's so vast in the sense that we cannot comprehend like that. So then think about what is the spiritual realm. This is just the material realm is just 25% of what is actual the spiritual realm. So spiritual realm has different what is called sections, and the topmost is the Goloka Vrindavan. So Krishna says in so many places that one who reaches my abode will never return back into this material world again. That's true. I mean, whoever is in the spiritual world with Krishna never falls down or never comes back into this material world. But when the jivas are originally being created to serve Krishna, right? And serve Krishna, but in the spiritual realm, like Krishna and Krishna's manifestations, there are so many manifestations and forms of Krishna. These are called Vaikuntha planets. There are Ayodhya Dham, there is Vrindavan Dham, there is Madhura Dham, there are Kailashis, there are so many dhams, and each and every incarnation of the form of the Lord also there in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha Dham. There is a dham for Lord Narasimhadev, there is a dham for Lord Kurmadev, and there are innumerable incarnations of the Lord and innumerable forms of the Lord. They all have their own abode of the Lord. So the forms of the Lord, incarnations or the expansions or plenary expansions of the Lord, is actually each and each loka of the Lord in this spiritual world. So of course, and the marginal potency or jiva is known as Tadastha Shakti, or called marginal potency. Means why they are marginal potency means they can be with Krishna. That's what they say, that they can be with the spiritual world or they can be into the material world. So that means they have a choice. Marginals, like in a ocean, ocean shore. So ocean shore, like we know that the tortoise come to the shore and they lay the egg there and things like that, and then they go back to the water, right? So they have a choice like that. So like that, we are on the shore. We are not really originally on the spiritual or with Krishna, but originally we were with the very close to the spiritual realm, and that place is actually called. This is so vast, even that cannot even think about that. There is a Viraja river, right, which is separate from the spiritual world and the material world. And when also there is a space, that place is there, that the banks of that river, that shore of that river, that's also the rays and the potencies of the Lord, and the jiva shaktis of the Lord, marginal part, they are all actually surrounded by those places. And then once purified enough, like a jiva, then from this material world, then and depends on our contaminations, we fall down from that position to the material world in so many places. And then when the spiritual, when we are purified enough and when we have enough, then when we go further back to the spiritual realm and spiritual world. So originally we are not in the Goloka or not in the Vaikuntha planets, but on the peripheral of the spiritual realm. And then from there, we fall down. Then we go back to Krishna, we go back to Krishna. Yeah.
Prabhu, there is I mean, this topic has been discussed a lot, but still, me and I'm sure there are others also, there is not much clarity, because like what you're saying, and I remember Hari Parshad Prabhu had said that there is Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha.
Yeah.
Bandha or Baddha, what?
Nitya Baddha. Not Bandha, Baddha. Baddha means eternally. Nitya means always. Okay, correct. This we cannot say eternally. Nitya means always. That's what is the meaning of Nitya. Sat means eternal. Nitya means always. So there is Nitya Baddhas and Nitya Siddhas. Right?
Correct. Siddha.
So yeah.
So we are Nitya Baddha, bound.
Yeah.
So this question comes of And if I remember rightly, please correct me if I'm wrong. Prabhupada in one of his lectures or in his purport has said, once we were all with Krishna in the spiritual world, and we had this free will which we misused, saying, why should Krishna enjoy? Why can't I enjoy? And then Krishna says, okay, there is this place for you to enjoy, which is the material world. And that's what we've been trying to do for many lifetimes. So now the technicality of this Viraja river, or we are on the periphery, we are the Tatastha.
Yeah.
Then I'm trying to reconcile this with, in what
Where is
context Prabhupada said.
Nitya Siddhas, right?
So where did that come from?
Yeah.
We were with Krishna and we rebelled,
Yeah.
misusing the free will, and that's where the whole story started.
Right. Yeah, so this is where, right? I mean, I was also meditating on this one, and that was also the miracle which happened. I was also meditating the same point yesterday that, Prabhuji mentioned about Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Badas. I was in front of the Lord, I was seeking the answer. But my realization I got, what is, I heard also that what it was exactly. When we say Nitya, Baddhas, so we know that even in this material world, Srila Bhaktacharya Maharaj and many, senior Vaishnavas says that, so it is, we are since time immemorial, we are kind of wandering in this material world. It's kind of an always. That means we cannot say that, okay, we are million years, and we cannot even say that how long that we have been wandering in this material world. Right? That's what it says that because of is anadi. Anadi means anadi means there is no beginning at all for. So that is kind of that we say in this material realm, and when we say Nitya Badas means that is applicable only to this material realm, not into the spiritual realm, because of there is no time for spiritual realm, there is no beginning for spiritual realm, there is no end for spiritual realm. So when we say Nitya Badas means in this material realm, that is everything has a beginning, everything has an end, everything has this one, and this time immemorial we are wandering in this material world. So that's why it is considered as, because of that vastness, because of that, nobody can count or anything like that. So generally it's termed as Nitya. We are wandering since time immemorial. But Nitya Mukta means there is a relevance from relieving from that condition and then attain the Krishna, attain the spiritual abode, and attaining the Krishna's abode and Golok Vrindavan. And then once he, liberated and got the association of Krishna, then he is eternally liberated. That means
back to Godhead.
Back to Godhead. He is eternal. That means Nitya Mukta. So yeah.
So, Prabhuji, let's say if there is a Ram devotee, someone who's with Ram, and Lord Rama has his own abode, Lord Varaha has his, Narsinga has his own, they all have their own. So if someone is a devotee and his going back to Godhead, let's say someone goes back to Lord Ramchandra's abode, Ayodhya Dham.
Yeah.
Then from there also he doesn't come back, right? Or it's only for Goloka he doesn't come back.
No. He doesn't come back from there. That's why Vaikunda means, spiritual world is free from all this, not only Goloka is also a Vaikunda planet, but only on the top of the, all this structure. So Goloka is also a Vaikunda planet. It's on the top of the abode. Nobody returns from the spiritual realm. That means if you go to Varahadesh, if you go to Sri Ram, Ayodhya Dham, if you go to Dwaraka Dham, if you go to Madhura Dham, that's the Goloka Vrindavan is the top of it. Because of when it comes to that, like Vishnu and Krishna is not much different because of Vaikunda planets are maintained by the Mahavishnu or Vishnu forms. But Krishna and Vishnu is in reality same person, and only the difference is because of when he wanted to be with like a family, like a home, he wanted to engage in the pastimes with his dear devotees, and that's where the Vrindavan. And when he comes down to receive his awe and reverence and the worship from the devotees in such a way that he is becoming a Vishnu, an innumerable Vishnus, or from innumerable services he can receive from innumerable devotees. So this is the arrangement there. So that means that's eternal part of it, Nitya Muktas. And then Krishna comes down they all come down because they are eternally serving the Lord. And then that doesn't mean that, like, we say the example of Shyamananda Pandit. Shyamananda Pandit was Anaka Manjari, and they came down into this along with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Anaka Manjari, and in order to spread the holy name, the glories of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani, in order to distribute the Sankirtan, and Anaka Manjari came down, and even Shyamananda Pandit went back to the abode of Vrindavan, the abode of Radharani. And then Radharani reminded him, yes, you are not, you have some more time, you have some more purpose in this world, then you come back, like that. So there are Nitya Muktas. They come and engage in the pastimes of the Lord. And we see that, like, Srila Prabhupada, or, Rupa Goswami, or Rupa Goswami was Rupa Manjari. Sanatana Goswami was Nidhi Manjari. And they were all Manjaris. They were all associates of Krishna and the Gopas and the Gopis, right? So they are eternally liberated. That means Nitya Muktas. They are always liberated in that case.
Yeah, so them coming down here is for a pastime to help us also.
Yes, exactly.
So right now we are all doing Hare Krishna, correct? And we are practicing sadhana, trying to develop love.
Yes.
Hopefully, who knows, one day if we are serious enough, it will happen. So what we are currently is, we are the Nitya Baddhas. And it is possible for a Nitya Baddha through the Krishna conscious process to become Nitya Mukta.
Correct. Exactly. That's where this world is actually created even for us, because we have decided that separate from Krishna. So we have that. So that's why Tadastha Shakti means we have that potency, we have that choice that whether we need Krishna or not. Yes, we will be always. And why we are causing that desire that I need to go down, because of we need to separately enjoy from Krishna. So then we have that thoughts, why should not I enjoy? So Krishna is enjoying, we as Lord is enjoying there, and why I should not enjoy? Why is the other people? So these are all anarthas are there. And then because of that anartha, that causes the desires, and then we come down into this world, material world basically. And material world is so vast, like, it's a one universe of 14 planetary system, and that 400 Brahma. And then there are universes that 1,100 Brahmas. It's so vast actually. So this you cannot easily comprehend, but the fact is that yes, we have this opportunity that to purify our consciousness, first of all, purify our chitta by these transcendental processes, so that we come out from we come out from our bodily gross level, we come out from our gross central level, we come out from our mental level, and even we come out from our intelligence, that kind of scholarly. That's why Anya Vilashi Dashunyam Jnana Karma. That means we come out from all this and we really situate into the pure Krishna. That's the real situation. Krishna is always thinking of Krishna, always remembering Krishna. We know that the story of Mirabai, right? Mirabai finally merged with the Dwarakadish in Dwaraka, and merged with the deity of Krishna. And why? Because of completely purified. And no tinges of, not even a single tinges of any material selfish motive or desire or anything like that. So the mind is purified completely. Only Krishna is seeing. And like we know that the Mukundamala Stotra, that Kulashegara Alvar, when somebody told Rama, and Sita was in the battlefield of Ravana and Rama, that Ravana killed, Ravana is actually shoot arrow to the Lakshmana, and then here, as soon as he heard, he was jumping and picking up all his army and marching to the ocean side to the Sri Lanka. And this is what it is, that this is the stage of, and like any Brahmana, like there are so many wonderful devotees, they always have this. That's why Srila Prabhupada mentioned Krishna consciousness, that when we come to that state and pure state of Krishna consciousness, that means then senses are less important. Even senses don't work even actually. Their mind does not even think anything else other than Krishna. We know that so many Babajis I was Vasudev Prabhu from Mumbai. He used to come here, and he had this experience with this Babaji. They were sitting for meditation even for like 13 hours, 17 hours, 19 hours without doing anything. in this Vrindavan still are there. What they have in there, they have always the thoughts of Krishna. It's then that time they don't care about their body, they don't care about their what senses, what they eat, what they don't eat. This is the ultimate state of that one, and that's the state, the pure state of that, the soul. They come to that spiritual level, that soul level, and then what happened? They talk to Krishna, they see Krishna. Then we always say that we are really not seeing through Krishna or eyes, but in the spiritual eyes. We all have that spiritual eyes, but because it's all contaminated, we don't see it. We see everything through our the material eyes. But we all have spiritual form, and we have original form, and that's very subtle, and we cannot even perceive. So we have to be so, what is called, so much sadhana. We have to be in such a way that we come to that state, like so subtle. That soul is so subtle level. That's why the symptom of that subtle level is the mind. Think about the mind, where it vastness it can go. That's just a symptom of that, the subtleness of our spiritual level. And mind is, and then further intelligence, and that settled than the mind is intelligence, and settled than even intelligence is our the spiritual level. It's so subtle, and that subtle level we have to reach, that in that pure state. Then what happens? Then it's all possible that we see Krishna, we see the abode of Krishna, we see the activities of Krishna, we enter into the abode of Krishna. Krishna always be with like, think about it, like the what was that, the Thakur, Villamangalam Thakur, right? Villamangalam Thakur, Krishna was personally coming to him because of he was not seeing through his eyes, but he was seeing through his spiritual form. This is Krishna is right there. And he wrote, Villamangalam Thakur. Is that Villamangalam? Yeah, Villamangalam. Yes, Villamangalam Thakur wrote a beautiful Ratnavali of, describing the each angas of Krishna, describing the beauty of Krishna. There are 700 verses or something like that. It's so beautiful. And what is that? That is the name I forgot. It's so beautiful. And, explaining. Yeah?
Churashtakam.
Sorry? Chaurashtakam, that is one. That is eight verses, but there are 700 verses of what is it, Ratnamala, something like that. So beautiful, and each anga was explained, like Jayadev Goswami. They were all completely immersed into this Krishna, and Jayadev Goswami and Padmavati. Padmavati and all directly went back to Krishna, and they were always thinking about Krishna. And these are the devotees, and they attain Krishna, and this is the truth, and this is the science. So so that's the state. So we have to go long way actually we have to go. So this is the way we purify. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Very wonderful. So, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, you clarify everything. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Very good. So at least we got the clarity. Yesterday, little bit confused. I was confused.
Yeah.
Today it is clear, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam. Yes, thank you. Such a wonderful question. And this is the forum for discussion. That's quite nice. Wonderful. Very nice. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice explanation. Actually, I was looking for something like this yesterday, and I was a little disappointed. I was in fact discouraged after that. After hearing yesterday's, I've been discouraged so much in my life. All this time being in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. I mean, this is quite impressive and quite quite detailed in terms of this topic. Yes, Srila Prabhupada, yes, mentioned that means yes, we were with Krishna. We were with Krishna in the sense that we are all originally Krishna conscious entities. That Srila Prabhupada also says that we are all originally Krishna conscious entities. That's our original nature. But Srila Prabhupada says that we are all belongs to the superior nature. But Srila Prabhupada says that when come in contact with this material nature, right? When come in contact with this material nature, then we are, in an incompatible situation. We are in an incompatible situation. But the moment we are come in contact with this superior nature, that's what is our spiritual activities, devotional service. We are come in contact with that superior energy of the Lord. Compatible situations, we are then belongs to that material, spiritual nature. That's why Devi Prakriti, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Mahatma Namstu Mam Bhartam Devim Prakriti Masrada. So we are, the spiritual, we are all putting ourselves and entering into that realm. That's called realm, spiritual realm. We are entering into that with our consciousness, with our activities, with our mind, our senses, and all. These are all nothing but, the transformation of that spiritual potency, that energy, Krishna's energy, into this material energy. But the moment we come out from the concepts of all this body, mind, senses, but we come to that state of that, we are entering into that spiritual realm in one sense. And then when our bhakti, that spiritual, practice, sadhana, becomes strong and strong and strong, we come out from that concepts of gross body and gross sense and mind and we situate in that real spiritual form. It's so subtle in that sense. Then we enter into that spiritual realm, and spiritual then further progress from there, and we develop that such a love for Krishna, back to Krishna. So that means we will have an entrance to Krishna, and we, in the spiritual world, that means we will get what is called a visa to go back to Godhead. That's still that go back home, back to Godhead, right? Back to Godhead. Yes, we are originally Krishna, spirit, soul. We are all part and parcel of Krishna, but it's that doesn't mean that we are be with Krishna like Gopas and the Gopis, like they were all eternally part of Krishna. That's why there are two more other things. There is called Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha, right? Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned the same in many places, that Jivas are known as Vibhinna Amsha. All the inhabitants of spiritual realm, Vaikunta Golok, is actually considered as the Swamsha. Swamsha means his own potency. Vaikunta, Vishnu forms, all this, all is on. But the Jivas are actually called Vibhinna Amsha. Vibhinna Amsha. That means we are separated Amsha of the Lord. We are separated Amsha of the Lord. So that explains a lot. When you say Vibhinna Amsha, that's where Jiva Tattva. There is a Jiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva is very vast, very different. That's what is mentioned is the Jiva Tattva, right? So they have limitations for it. Okay. So yeah, so it's nice. Thank you.
Very good, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Again, very good, nice explanation. Clearly, you define, Prabhu. That is good. At least, at least you explain such a way that we at least get the clarity. We get the clarity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we get to do that, and yeah. Yes, that's. Thank you for raising that questions and concerns. Always, yeah, that's very good, very good. Thank you so much.
Very well.
Yeah, that's the reason probably Srila Prabhupada named his magazine Back to Godhead, because he always said that we are coming from Krishna and we are going back to Krishna.
Yes, we are originally Krishna conscious entities anyway, but only the thing is that it depends on where we are. Yes, we are belongs to Krishna. That means we are part of Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are Krishna conscious entities, and we are Vibhinnamsha. That means we are not Swamsha. We are Vibhinnamsha. So that we have a place also. That's why we call it a Tadastha Shakti, or marginal. That we are, then because of, our jivas are created to serve Krishna. But what happens, when we have this independent will and free will, then, then they have they create an opportunity, create an option, create a selection that, what you want, right? What you want, whether you want to be with Krishna, then, be in this way. That means you are, you have to practice how to serve Krishna. You have to do you have to purify your consciousness, purify that this is what is Krishna, this is this is the abode of Krishna, likes that. So it's a long way process. That way, it's not that when you say likes that, it's not like that. So Krishna wanted 100% from each and every one. 100%. That means there is not even a single little bit of tinge of that, any selfish, anything of that separate from Krishna. That's what's called ego. We have original ego. but jivas are actually in this material world contains false ego called ahankara. Ahamba means the moment we think about I, that's why this free will or choice, I, that means, oh, I am separate from Krishna. The moment that we are, we are then part of this material world. But the moment we think that, no, there is no I am part of Krishna, I means Krishna, that I am part of Krishna. This is what is the inhabitants of the spiritual realm, how they behave, how they treat Krishna. They cannot separate from Krishna. But Jiva, they feel, okay, yeah, fine, I can separate from Krishna. So that's why it is called as Tadastha Shakti. And the moment we think about that completely purified, free from all our independent, and we completely surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will take care of, right? Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is entirely the explanation of this. Krishna says that Sarvadharman Paritijya Mam Egam Sharanam Vraja. Agam Tam Bhavi Agam Tam Bharvava Moksha Ikshami Mam Sijaha. Moksha Ikshami. See, Krishna says the word moksha. Why Krishna says moksha? Because of your condition. You are conditioned. Jivas are conditioned. Yeah, okay. I mean, we can talk on and on and on. Okay.
Yes. But once we get the moksha, just last point, Prabhu, once we get the moksha, then we are the Nitya Mukta, right?
We are mukta. Yes, that's called mukti, means liberation. Mukti means
But
liberation.
Nitya Mukta, right?
Eh?
Nitya
Yes.
Mukta, right?
Nitya mukta. Yes, that's correct. I mean, yes, but always remember that there are muktis also in different terms are there. Like, but the real mukti is actually go back to Godhead. Like we whenever see some people says that mukti means attaining the spiritual, like attaining the Vaikuntha, right? That's what is the real mukti or real liberation. So it is mentioned that whenever we are free from our anarthas, that's also called the mukti. When we say that we are free from our, so when we chant the holy name sincerely, we get the mukti. We get the free from all these contaminations and free from our anarthas. But that is not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not a purna mukti or a real mukti. That's a temporary partial mukti. But once who completely engage himself with such a heart, such a sincere devotion to the Supreme, they will attain that Nitya Mukti. Okay, there are two words, right? Nitya Mukti and the Mukti. You get that point?
Yes, Prabhu, got it.
So Mukti and Nitya Mukti. That means we will attain the Vaikuntha, and Nitya Mukti. That means we are always liberated or eternally liberated. Otherwise, we get some kind of liberation in terms of from our clutches of Maya, clutches of our material entanglement, clutches of our anarthas, clutches of our, all these, and we will be also up to that top of the notch. But in order to attain Nitya Mukta, we have to have exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna and Vishnu. Only Krishna and Vishnu Tattva can give the liberation. Nobody else can give the liberation.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. One word for now, Prabhu.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's conclude then today's section. Thank you so much for a wonderful discussions. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Let's conclude. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyevaja patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari.
Yeah, Prabhu, Hari Hari Bolo.
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.